It's showtime.
Welcome to Show Me Some Television, the segment where I binge watch television programs and tell you all about them thanks to Roger's Show Me service, which I'm still getting for free. Bonus! So, this time we are going to be talking about Mr. Robot, Season 1. Now, I'll be honest, I thought Mr. Robot was about a robot. It's not. No. It's actually one of the reasons why I was avoiding it. And it wasn't until I was visiting my mom that I actually found out what the show was about. And it's funny because my mom tends to watch a lot of shows which I should be watching, but I'm not. Mr. Robot was one of them. She had watched Mr. Robot, and, you know, I was over, and she puts on, you know, she knows I haven't seen it. We actually talked about not having seen it. She's like, why don't you watch it? It's on Show Me. And I was like, you're right, it is on Show Me. I guess I should watch it. So, I'm over and I'm visiting, and she puts on this, I guess it was a documentary program, and it is essentially it's all about Mr. Robot. Now they honestly, I tried not to watch as much as possible, but I mean, it was on television. We're sitting there, we're doing it, but it's one of those things where it was giving away too much of the show. So before it could, you know, give me a ton of information, I you know, excused myself and went home. But I now knew at that point what Mr. Robot was about. It's about hackers. And I love the movie Hackers. Don't get me wrong. I love watching it. I watch it all the time. But it's... yeah, this is not what I thought the show was about. I thought it was about, like, robots and artificial intelligence, and I had just watched a show that was about that, and so I was like, avoiding it. But now that I knew it was about hackers, I had to go back and check it out. So essentially, what the program is it revolves around it has multiple hackers in the show, in the program, but it sort of revolves around one in particular, a guy named Elliot, who during the day works at a cybersecurity firm. And when he's not working there, he's essentially hacking. He's very socially inept, to the point where it's almost crippling sometimes. And he gets hooked up with Mr. Robot, who is a leader of a sort of an anarchist group of hackers who have this big plan to sort of take down the biggest what would you call them, like financial companies in the world type thing. I don't know. I think they're really diversified, but their whole idea was they're going to erase all of the debt information so that everybody who has, you know, debt with this company would be wiped clean. So I mean, we've seen similar things. It's almost like if you took Hackers and you mixed it with like Fight Club, and you know you put those two things together, you come out with Mr. Robot. Now, one of the great things about this is the Elliot character, who is played by Rami Malek, and it's his job in portraying this character is really, really well. I don't know if he's at all like this in real life, but when it comes to this television show, he really manages to portray that socially not awkward. Like he's beyond awkward. He is, he's not all there in the head in terms of the social aspects, and it is clear from the show. He's not only seeking psychiatric help, but he has a tendency to break that third wall and talk to the audience as if we're actually there, cuckoo. So I loved his performance. We also get Christian Slater. Yes, Christian Slater's back. He actually plays the role of Mr. Robot. I think he may have won an award for this. I don't really get why. Rami Malek, I get why he could win something. Christian Slater, I didn't think it was, like anything. He was good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he was anything extraordinary. So, I guess, hopefully, maybe there were just other people who weren't that great that he was up against. I don't know. We also get Carly Chaikin as Darlene and Portia Doubleday as Angela Moss, essentially the female leads in this show. And yeah, both do a fantastic. Honestly, the women in this program, all of them are like really, really good. From Elliot's psychiatrist to his best childhood friend to his drug dealer, to his hacker buddies, to the wife of the evil characters that he has to deal with in this program. All of them are really, really, like, the character, just everybody's acting is so good in this show that I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the hacking aspect, I really wish they had done more of it, but it did concentrate more on Elliot and what was going on around him, and which is several different subplots and such. So it wasn't all based on this driving towards taking down this big financial conglomerate known as E-Corp or Evil Corp. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the hacking aspect. I wish they would have done a little bit more explaining on what they were trying to do, instead of just showing somebody typing some lines of code on a television screen. I really wish they had explained what they were doing at the time, because I do know that one of the problems my mom had with it was she didn't understand that aspect at all. She didn't know what was going on. She still watched the show because the other aspects were there, and like I said, it focuses more on that. But whenever it got down to the technical aspects and what they were doing, she was lost. And I think that's one of the reasons why she wanted to watch that documentary, because it did try to explain and simplify some of the things that were going on, which helped her a lot, because she really did mention, she was like, okay, now I'm kind of starting to understand what happened in the program. And I will underline kind of sort of understand, because she only got an idea of what they were trying to do rather than what they were doing exactly. So yeah, there were a few moments where I was like, what are they doing? Other than read, because sometimes it flashes pretty quick, so you may only see access denied. I can't see what they're trying to do. Are they trying to get into a certain directory? Are they trying to do something specific? I can't actually read the code fast enough to decipher it, let alone if I even could figure it out. I'm not exactly a code person. I don't have any computer science background outside of what I've taught myself, with HTML, JavaScript, and some database coding. But other than that, I'm pretty much self-taught, and it takes me a while sometimes to wrap my head around things and try and come up with solutions. But luckily, I am a pretty quick thinker, so I do understand that stuff a little bit quicker than your average Joe might, which is good because that allows me to do my job. But yeah, in terms of Mr. Robot, as far as I know, second season has already started. And there are a few, I think 1 or 2 episodes in, I don't know, but hopefully I still have Shomi around come second season so I can check this out, because I do want to see where they go with a second season of Mr. Robot, because the first season does seem like it's pretty, contained, though they do leave some avenues open for story arcs that could continue on in a second season. But the main aspect that is going on in the first season is kind of wrapped up in a way. Though there were, like I said, there are aspects of it that are sort of left open and dangling. Like they introduced them and they had a storyline that went with it, but it never came to a conclusion. So yeah, we'll see. Probably gonna show up in season 2, I would think. It makes sense. But who would have known if Mr. Robot would have taken off like it did when they first aired it? Because it wasn't. I don't think it was via advertising or really the critics. I think it blew up via word of mouth before the critics had even managed to get their hands on it. So yeah, who would have known? Who would have thought something like this would have happened? But hey. You tap into today's technologies, people get interested. So, yeah, if you are at all interested in technology, computers, hacking, securities, and how vulnerable we all really are, check out Mr. Robot. They try and keep things as accurate and realistic as possible, though there are a few little, tweaks here and there. They take some liberties, as does pretty much anybody, but they try and keep them to a minimum as far as I could tell. So yeah, Mr. Robot season 1 gets a recommend from me, but it's not for everybody. If computers and that kind of stuff and mathematics and code and such aren't your thing, you may find yourself getting a little lost at times, and if you don't want that to happen, I would steer clear, but you'll be missing out. Everybody's seen it already. What? I'm late to the party. No, actually, not everybody's seen it because, like I said, word of mouth is what it came around, and until it started winning the awards, I think there were a lot of people who didn't know what it was. So now you do, because I've chimed in. There you go. Mr. Robot Season 1. Check it out if you have the chance. Thanks for watching. Till next video. Take care. Have a good one.